Right. Yo, what's up, Sidi? Appreciate you for taking the time to hop on
Of
this
course,
call.
bro. Of
Uh,
course, man. Of course.
yeah, bro. I just wanted to take some time to hop on a meeting with you to talk a little about your story, kind of what we've been able to do together. And we could start by you introducing yourself. Who are you? How old are you? And what were you doing before high ticket sales?
Yeah, so my name is Sidi. I'm 18. I actually turned 19 tomorrow, so I guess I'm 19. Before high ticket sales, I was just, your regular retail worker. I was working at JD Sports. I had just graduated high school. I live in the US, so I just graduated high school. It was in that span from like graduating to, I guess, August, where I was just kind of figuring many different things out. Just typically scrolling on TikTok, Instagram. Um, And I tried many different things. I tried even during my time in high school. I've tried many different business models. Didn't really go my way. Um, and I figured like instead of me trying to do everything myself, let me, get guided through it through somebody who's been able to do it. So
Okay.
I was just like, let me just I mean, what do I have to lose? Just take that risk, I just always think to myself, people that are where I want to be, they all got there by taking a risk. So I was like, I can't get there without, I'm trying to say taking that risk. So
100%. And
pretty
we'll
much
dive a little bit deeper into the risk in a
100%,
second. But I was
100%.
curious, before you ever joined, before you ever got into high ticket sales, have you ever done any sales at all? Like door-to-door sales, anything similar to that?
Yeah, I did door-to-door sales. I did door-to-door sales for a home management company, a home improvement company.
Okay.
Going door to door, climbing hills, hot weather. Commissions were good. They were decent, but I felt like I can, definitely put my time into something, remote. That's kind of what I was looking for, being able to work anywhere I am just with Wi-Fi and a laptop.
Okay.
So yeah, to answer your question, I did do door-to-door sales. I was also retail. I worked JD Sports, so we'd have to sell shoes. Um, so yeah, I guess that would be the only sales experience that I had. Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't already like you weren't like a sales genius already. You have to
Oh, of course not, man. Of course not,
Okay.
man. No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Okay, so I guess I'm curious for you, what have you tried before talking to me to be able to get into the high ticket sales space?
Yeah, as in like what different business models?
What have you tried to be able to make money online before?
Yeah, so I've tried. I mean, door to door was the first thing I got into. Did that for a little while. It was too much on, it's too much. I wasn't really tough on myself like that. I just couldn't do it. Got off of that. I tried SMMA. Trying to cold call, cold DM. Really wasn't. I was doing all this on my own. I didn't really have no guidance. I bought a course for SMMA. It was trash. That's kind of why I was, on the fence about, investing money again or putting my, I'm trying to say putting my whatever. Um, I tried SMMA. I mean, obviously reselling. I've done reselling like, throughout my time in high school, just kind of make some money. That it was a thing at the time. I did pretty good at that. Thing is, like everything that I did decently well at it, and I didn't really have the guidance. So I thought to myself like, if I had the proper guidance, if I kind of like just kind of had someone that's kind of like hold my hand and walk me through it, it would kind of, I guess, put me in the position where I want to be, you
Right.
know?
It pushes
Yeah,
you a little bit further. It's like having a coach when you're playing soccer, right? You can get
exactly.
good at soccer, but if you have a coach, you get way better.
Exactly.
Uh, what were you thinking about the high ticket sales space before? Did you think it was a scam? Because I know a lot it has a an interesting reputation online, and there's a lot of people out there that are talking about it.
Yeah, 100%. At the time when I first joined, it was around like I said August, the August time. No, it was around July, August. So the high tech wasn't really popping like how it is right now. So even then, like I thought it was just like kind of like a one hit wonder kind of thing. It was just like a month where it would just what I'm trying to say. But then I did some research. I saw that like the info space, the education space online is only gonna grow. It's already like $1 billion industry right now, and in the next like 10 years, 20 years, it's gonna be $1 trillion industry. So I was like, yeah, there's no way it's gonna die out. Everybody needs a sales rep at some point, and high ticket sales has always been a thing. It's just people put it in the term high ticket sales. Like every business, they all have closing, they all have setters, they all, I'm trying to say it's all proper. So to answer your question, I was kind of like 50-50 on it. I was 50-50 on it. But I was like, what do I have to lose again? That was my mindset. I was young, 18. I have nothing to lose. If I don't make it happen, I still live with my parents. I still have everything paid off for me.
Good. Yeah.
Um, I was like, if I make it happen, then, I'm able to provide for my family. I'm able to, achieve the things that I wanted to achieve earlier than I had them planned initially before.
I love that, bro. I love that. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
curious, what stood out for you about me? What made you reach out, to me
Yeah.
specifically and pull the trigger with us?
I mean, to be completely honest with you, bro, it's just you're just like straight up. That's what I tell all the people that I work with as well. When I told them about my mentor, I mean, that's the main thing he taught me, just to be straight up with people. And I feel like that stood out. It's like you didn't really need the money from me. And there's a lot of people out there that their main thing is to sell a course, is to make money through that course. Like for me, like about you, it's like, bro, like if I did join, it's like, what do you have to lose? You're still, I'm trying to say you're still making your money. So it's like it's not like you needed me to. I'm trying to say pay your bills or anything like that. I guess that's what mainly stood out to me. But when it came to the aspect of sales, everybody is good at sales from the people that posted online. What I'm trying to say? So I'm not gonna invest with somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. But mainly that kind of, I guess, what kind of stood out to me about you. Like I said, you didn't really need me to join. I'm trying to say to for you to, so you were willing to help me at a right price. The price was right. Obviously, like I'm an 18-year-old kid. I don't have the money to spend 10 racks or 20 racks on training. Like for example, like Jeremy Miner's program, for example, like dude's charging 50 bands. Like I don't have that, to be honest with you. So I mean, at a conventional price that kind of you were at kind of made sense to me. So I guess to answer your question, that's what stood out to me.
All right. That's good, bro. That's good. I'm glad you like that. I'm very big on being direct and just being
Right.
super straightforward with people. I think that's an important thing to do. And yeah, at the end of the day, I still close deals. I don't really need to close people to be able to come in and make
Right.
from them.
Right.
It's more so just to be able to help other people like this. Industry changed my life, so I wanted to be able to do the same with others. But I guess tell me a little bit about the work. So, what was your first month like? When you first joined? What was your normal day like? I guess, just walk me through like the hardest part about it.
Yeah, bro.
Tell me about times where you almost quit
I can
and
tell you about that, bro. It's gonna be it's pretty. You will actually remember this. My first month, I actually got onboarded with you pretty quickly. So I was like, I guess I stood out to you in your eyes. I don't know, but I was grinding. I was working. This is the thing. Like people expect to just join and work maybe 2 3 hours a day and expect to make a certain amount of money. Like it's not. You got to actually grind, and I knew that. I was working like 7 8 hours a day. From like 11 to 6. And then I would also on my own time I would work. I would do some research. I'd look back at my calls. I'd record some of my calls to kind of like look back at them. Um, and then I guess the first couple weeks, first week or two, I was just trying to. I haven't really made much money. First 3 weeks maybe, I didn't really make much money. I was just trying to, I guess, just navigate the space, just kind of find my way, specifically to the offer that I was on. And then one week actually, I made 3K in a week, which was like 3K profit to my pocket. It was a little bit more, but after payouts, after like fees and taxes and all that, I came out like 2.9. So I'm like, bro, I made all this in a week, and it's like I've never seen much money like this in my life. And I'm thinking to myself, like, people working retail, people working this much, even the managers that I used to have at retail, this is how much they would make in like a month or 2 months. I made it in a single week from the comfort of my own home. You know what I'm trying to say? And this was around that week that I made that 3K. The next week was the beginning of college. And I don't like college, bro. I hate school. Like that's just not for me. Obviously, I have heir parents who, like, they're on the other side of that. They think it's
I
the
remember
only
I
thing that you,
remember talking about that with you and going through the whole process.
yeah, yeah. And I was getting many different inputs, and all the people that were in your circle, from your connections, including yourself, they were all college dropouts. So I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, this is not really. I don't really like college in the beginning. I kind of have something to show for it, as in the 3K that I made in that one week. So like, let me just sit down with my parents and convince them. My parents are really understanding. That's the thing. That's the difference about them. Like they're really understanding. So if I come to them from a reasonable standpoint with a proper plan, they let me drop out. So end of story. I basically dropped out. I went one day. The next day I dropped out. Um, and this is where it kind of gets difficult because 2 weeks after that, I didn't make a single dollar. And I still remember dude, I don't know, I didn't know what to think because I just dropped out of college. I can't just reapply now. The school year just started. I told myself, I swore, I told this, I swore to God that I would never get a normal job again. When I first started, when I made that 3K week, I was like, bro, if this is what's possible, I'm no way ever gonna get a normal job, no matter what.
Yeah.
So that, I was like, okay, so I can't get a job. I can't reapply to college. Like, bro, what am I gonna do? The business, it seemed so slow. I was getting in my own head because again, I don't really have experience in the space. Like, mind you, just like my first month doing this. Um, and it was just a bunch of those mindset calls that you got on me with. You know, I would just kind of like try to, I could just escape it, just try to go against it. And then I remember clearly you were telling me, I still remember I was in the same room that I'm in right now. I was just walking around my room just listening to you. You took you gotta fight it. You gotta go through it. And then you related to me about your personal situation where you had to go through something like that as well, when you know you weren't really making much money. You had to push through it. I was like, like it was difficult. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I was right there on quitting. I swear to God, I was right there, bro. I was right. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what made me go forward. I'm not gonna lie. Like your calls gave me a good push. I remember I would try to, like I said, escape it by go out and play basketball because that's what I would do on a daily. I think around the evening, around 7, 8, I would go out and play basketball, and I was trying to do that earlier in the day. I was trying to escape it, and you're like, bro, like you're not going out until you do a certain amount of calls. I was
Yeah.
like, or get a certain amount of appointments set. And I was like, bro, I didn't want to be completely honest with you. Like I was getting objection after objection after objection. My mindset was everywhere. You know what I'm trying to say? And I had just dropped out of college, so it's like I'm thinking to myself, like, did I make the wrong decision? I can't tell my parents that I've been making $0 for 2 weeks. And the thing is, like, even after I dropped out of college, I worked even harder. So I was putting in like what those 7 hours a day. I was working
Yeah.
even hard, putting like 8, 9, 10 hours a day for 2 weeks straight consistently, and I wasn't seeing any results. And I think that's what separates the people that succeed versus people that failed. They do a certain amount of work for a certain amount of time. If they don't see results, they feel like they're obligated. They feel like they must see results just because they're putting in work.
They're owed results. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I made that. I haven't made money for 2 weeks, and then I pushed through. I landed another opportunity through your same training to this. I basically just took everything that you taught me and I put it into a closing offer. And that's when I got on the closing offer. That's when I closed there for a couple months. I made
Let's
like
talk
around
about
like
that.
five.
You
Huh?
win, you learn the skills, you push through that hardship, and you got on that closing offer. What was
Yeah.
your biggest month on that offer in USD, by the way, so far?
14, around there, between 13 and 14. After.
14,000. Okay. And have you ever made $14,000 in your life before?
Huh, man, nah, it's crazy. I'm still getting like goosebumps thinking about this, bro. I've never seen this much money in my life, and it's really easy to kind of just splurge on that, just just buy this, buy that, and by the grace of God, I honestly didn't splurge my money. I was smart with my
Tell
money.
us about your trip. Like, what did you do with your money?
Yeah, I mean that is what I did splurge on, traveling.
Where did you go?
I went to Saudi Arabia. I went in the first week of January. I went for 2 weeks, January 5th to whatever 2 weeks is after that. I went there. Time of my life. That's like where I
What did you
plan
do?
on
What
living.
did you do in Saudi Arabia?
We made Umrah. Did our pilgrimage.
Alhamdulillah.
Um, I met some people that I know over there. And I came back. Um, and then like 3 weeks later, I went back again. I was like, bro, I need to go back. The feeling is amazing, and that's one of the things. And you've been yourself. That's one of the things where it's like you can't explain it to someone. They have to be there themselves to feel how it feels. Like it's a
Yeah.
feeling that nobody can explain.
So
Um,
you took this skill set and the ability to be able to work online, still made money and traveled and
that
stayed
is
there.
true.
And
And
you had
what's crazy about that is I made the most amount of money in my life when I was over there working in Saudi. So
okay.
it's just like those 2 weeks that I went, it was the most amount of money I made in 2 weeks, and it was around the five-figure mark. Let's just say that in those 2 weeks.
Good, bro. Awesome, man. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the program. What was I guess for you, what did you feel like was the most beneficial part for you when it came to getting into the program? And if you were to explain it to a friend, how would you do it?
Yeah. So I guess the most beneficial thing to me was it was kind of like you were just getting guided through it. You were literally telling me exactly what I need to do. I just had to go and do it.
Yeah.
And like to basically explain it to like a friend or basically explain it to somebody who doesn't know anything about sales. Like if I were to explain this to a kindergartner, I just tell them literally like, I'm gonna tell you what you have to do. You just do it.
Yep.
And do it and do it and do it. Even if you don't see results, just keep on going and going and going because at some point you're gonna break through and make some money. Um, so that was, I guess, the most important thing that stood out to me. Again, it wasn't just sales calls at the thing. It wasn't like just like, oh, business. It was kind of like a brotherhood. Some of the other brothers, you even told me this yourself. You were like, I would, from regarding the offer that you were on, I was like, you have better opportunities here. You were like, yeah, but this brotherhood means more to me than just some, a little bit more thousand. So that kind of really stood out to me. It's like I said, it's mainly a brotherhood. Everybody was cool with each other. You guys travel, travel to other countries. And you guys even invited me to travel with you. I remember, you guys invited me to travel with you guys to Spain. And I'm so open for that, bro. If you guys are so down for that, I'm so open for that.
Well, for the next trip, I'll keep you in mind. I actually
Perfect,
will. We're planning a Europe trip this summer.
perfect,
Inshallah.
perfect. I'm gonna
All
be
right, cool.
in Morocco in the summer, so that should work hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
that, and like I said, it was also like I said, those mindset calls, trying to get me to push through,
Yeah.
just keeping it a buck with me, keeping it real with me. You weren't trying to,
Direct.
yeah, you're being direct. You weren't like looping me around. You're like as a man, just like keeping it straight to me. I'm not gonna lie, some of the times, like I felt like kind of you were kind of hard on me, but like later, like I'm like, bro, like I'm glad that this guy spoke to me. Like I'm glad that he told me this. And I tell this to all the people that I speak to, like everybody that I speak to, from people that are in different business models, because obviously, like through your time working in sales, you're gonna build some connections, from people from and every different business model. And I tell them the same thing regarding my mentor, and they all had mentors. That's something that we all relate with. We all had someone guide us through it. We all try to do things on our own. That doesn't work. A mentor just kind of saves you from making mistakes. Now, this is the mindset that I had. Like, he's gonna save me from making the same mistakes that he made. Just making the process easier for me. Um, yeah. I guess to answer your question, yeah,
I love
that's
that.
what I took the
Okay,
most out of the program.
cool. So, what would you tell someone watching this who's where you were a year ago?
Hmm. Well, where I was a year ago, I honestly had like I was just stuck. I had no vision in life. Still in high school. I was around time to graduate. I don't know what I wanted to do. Um, but I'm still seeing some things on the online money space, and I want to get into it. And I guess people seeing your content. I think it's just like how much more time do you want to waste? You know what I'm trying to say? Like you have to sacrifice something. Are you willing to sacrifice more time, or are you willing to sacrifice an investment? Are you willing to sacrifice, your health? You have to choose what it is that you want to sacrifice. And I honestly, I was like I said, I was still kind of young, I guess. I didn't want to sacrifice any time. I was back against the wall. I needed to make it happen now. And if that came at a cost of an investment that made sense to me, I was like, bro, like this is a no-brainer. Yeah, it may be uncomfortable, it may sting for a bit, but it's what it takes. And I always relate to people who are where I want to be. I look at people not from a perspective of like jealousy or envy or anything, but from a perspective of like inspiration, like motivation, like damn, like he's literally living the exact same life that I want to live. Because everybody has their own way of what they have planned for the future. So I'm seeing someone that's living the exact same life, like living where I want to live, the life I want to live. I'm like, bro, like he's doing the same thing. Like, what's the difference between me and him? I'm thinking like if he definitely didn't do what I'm doing right now, as in just being lazy, just sacrificing time. Because time is, time is more valuable than anything. Like people would pay millions to get years back of their life. People would do that.
100%.
It's just a perspective and a mindset shift. So I guess to answer your question about what I would tell people is like, you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do it. Just go and do it. Just take this. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable ride. If it was comfortable, if it was easy, everybody in the world would be doing it. You wouldn't see anybody working retail. You wouldn't see anybody driving Uber. Not saying not talking bad about these things. People have to do what they have to do. But if it was easy to make money online, if it was easy to make all this money remotely, like everybody in the world would be doing it. But it's not easy. Only a specific amount of people can make it.
Yeah.
Um, so to answer your question, bro, just get started. Whoever is listening to this, whoever's watching this, just take that action. Just take that leap, and you're gonna get guided through it. And then you know, by the will of God, God is also gonna help you get through it as well. He's the only one that helps us get through it.
Yeah.
Um, and then also you take the means, and you taking the means is, investing into yourself, investing into your future, your family. A lot of people may have, a significant other, some kids. Um, and I think it's just better to start while you have the time. That was the thing for me. I didn't have no responsibilities. I didn't have no kids, no wife, no. I don't have none of those now, hopefully, but. Um,
Good too.
hopefully, but yeah, that was my thing. Like, I got to do this now, while I have no responsibilities. Because once, kids come around, once, I'm trying to say, you got more responsibilities, you need to guaranteed, you
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna be
uh,
harder. Yeah, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. People grow
that's just
inside their comfort zone, or people grow outside their comfort zone, not inside of it.
exactly.
But before we wrap up, CD, I really appreciate everything you said. I hope it really helps people push themselves. Is there anything you want to say that maybe I didn't ask about that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Um, I mean, like regarding like I told you when I tell other people, and I don't even tell you this because I'm like why I'm not about to go tell him that I was speaking about him. Like whenever we're in gatherings with, like I said, even in my area there's a lot of entrepreneurs, people that are doing their thing. We all hang out, go out for food. Like the other day, we were last week we were out for pizza. We all hang out. It was like 8, 9 of us, and we're all speaking about our journeys, and for me, it always comes back to you. No glaze, no nothing, bro. Like it always comes back to the work that you helped me do. And I'm not saying this just to say this. Like I swear to God, I always do. Um, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's just it was the right thing for me to do at the time. And I think like if I was what is it was this was and all this happened in under a year, man. This is like what is it? Where are we in? We're in May now. This
Yeah.
was August. It's like 8 months, 8, 9 months,
Great.
8, 9 months ago, and my life did a whole 360, double 360, whatever that is, 540, whatever, bro. Um, and I think to myself, like, if I was in the same position that I was 6 months ago, I would redo it again. I would make the same investment. I would make the same, I would take the same path because I see what it
No
got me.
regrets.
Huh?
No regrets.
No regrets at all. No regrets at all, man. The only regret I have is not starting earlier, bro. I'm like, damn, bro. Why haven't I seen about you before, bro? Why
I
haven't
mean,
I seen about
I appreciate I appreciate you doing that, CD. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, the goal is to be able to help. And then it makes me so happy to see this. Like to me, when you hit your first $14,000 a month, wallah, and I say this and I mean it with my heart, it felt better than when I made my first $10,000 a month. Like that's insane to me because it's like the path is so proven that it not only works for me, but it works for other people if they're willing to sit down and put in the work. And I love that.
I'm not the only for content. I'm not the only one that's seen results, man. There's more people that's seen more money that's made more money than me. Way
Yeah.
more money than me. I'm just one of
And
those
you
people. Of
still you still have to be held to a high standard. You still have work you need to do. You still
course.
have things you need to improve on, and we're gonna work on those things together. But yeah, bro,
100%.
I'm very, very, very happy seeing your transition. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you.
100%, man. I'm excited as well, bro. I'm excited as well. Let's keep on moving forward. This is just the first step of the process. We just getting started. We're just getting started. We're gonna be out there.
Crush it. Let's crush it. All right. Thank you so much for your time,
All
CD.
right,
I'll
brother. Yes,
see
sir.
you very, very soon. All right. Take care, bro.
Yep. You